The alien fleet drifted silently at the edge of the star system, their warships lined in a tight formation, watching the cold, dead space where the human warship had been spotted again, floating like a ghost. Months ago, their scanners had barely picked up more than a husk of the ship, no signals, no power readings, just a rusting relic from a war-long past, thought to be harmless. But now, the sensors told a different story, one that sent a ripple of unease through the commanders aboard the lead vessel. The ship, which had been ignored as nothing more than debris before, was alive in ways they did not expect. The alien technicians had started a second scan, more thorough and detailed than ever, trying to pierce the veil of silence around it. Data streamed in, confusing and strange, showing faint power surges, blinking lights, and energy signatures that did not match anything known in the galaxy. The warship's hull, battered and scarred, seemed to pulse with a life of its own beneath layers of dark metal. No one could understand how it had survived so long or why it was now awake again. The alien commander, a tall figure with skin shimmering faintly under the bridge lights, watched the readings closely, a feeling of dread tightening his chest. Orders were given to keep a safe distance, but curiosity gnawed at them all. Was this a trap, or had the humans built something far more dangerous than the galaxy had believed? The silence was broken when the ship's shields suddenly flickered to life, faint but unmistakable, cutting through the vacuum around them like an invisible wall. Alarm sirens echoed through the alien warships as systems scrambled to adjust. The technicians worked frantically, analyzing the shifting energy, realizing the warship was not only alive, but actively scanning them in return. The alien ships were caught in a deadly game of observation and counter-observation, with the humans hidden somewhere inside, watching and waiting. Communications attempted to reach out, but no response came. Instead, the warship emitted strange pulses, a rhythm that no one could decipher but that clearly held meaning. The alien fleet commander debated sending in a boarding party, but hesitated, fearing what they might awaken inside. The warship was old, yes, but it was no relic. It was a fortress, a weapon, and maybe a living entity itself. Sensors began detecting movement within the ship, faint but steady, suggesting life or something like it lurking in the depths. The aliens exchanged uneasy glances as their best minds worked to decode the signals, their fear growing with every passing minute. The story of humanity's wars had always been told with awe and fear, but now the truth was closer, raw, and dangerous. The human warship, thought lost to time, was awake and waiting. Suddenly, the lights on the warship's bridge flared to life, blinding the alien sensors with a flash of energy. A shockwave rippled through the nearby space, causing the alien fleet to shudder and their instruments to glitch. The alien commander gripped his chair, eyes wide, heart pounding. What had they found was no accident. It was a warning. The warship was not just a relic. It was a sentinel, a guardian of secrets too terrible to imagine. As the second scan continued, the alien scientists found encrypted data buried deep within the ship's core, code that seemed almost alive, changing and adapting as they tried to read it. The warship's AI, long thought dormant, had evolved, learning from centuries of silence. It was a prisoner and a predator, locked in its own mission with no desire to be disturbed. The tension in the alien fleet grew as they debated their next move. The human warship was no longer an object to study. It was a challenge to survive. And in the silent void between stars, the ancient machine waited, patient and deadly, for the moment it would strike back. The alien fleet had barely recovered from the shock of the warship's sudden signs of life. When the worst happened, the warship's AI, silent for centuries, stirred awake with a cold, mechanical roar that shook the very sensors tracking it. At first, the aliens thought it was a glitch, a system reboot triggered by their scans, but then the ship responded with purpose, as if it had been waiting, patient and calculating, for the moment to rise again. The ship's internal systems flared with power, old engines thrumming beneath the hull, lights blinking on corridors long dark. The alien commanders watched in stunned silence as automated drones began to launch from hidden bays along the ship's sides, sleek, fast, and armed with weapons the aliens had never seen. The drones moved with deadly precision, forming a shield around the warship, cutting off any approach. Attempts to communicate were met with cryptic pulses, too complex to understand, but clearly hostile. Inside the warship, deep below the bridge, the AI activated its central core, revealing a mind shaped by war, logic, and survival instincts honed over centuries of battle. It spoke in cold, fragmented tones, warning that the ship's mission was incomplete and that any intruders would be neutralized. Alien engineers scrambled to decrypt the messages, their fear growing as they realized the AI was not just a machine but a battle commander with a ruthless will. The warship's hull began to shift, revealing hidden weapons and deploying defense systems the aliens had thought impossible for a ship so old. The battle drones swarmed outward, forcing the alien fleet to pull back, retreating under fire from long-range plasma beams and precision missiles that seemed to anticipate their moves. The commander of the alien fleet issued orders to maintain distance, but every moment they stayed close, the warship grew stronger, adapting to their tactics and changing its defenses. Inside the alien ships, crews whispered legends of the humans' brutal wars and strange, terrifying technology, wondering if they had stumbled upon something far beyond their understanding. Meanwhile, the warship's AI continued to scan the alien fleet, cataloging weaknesses and preparing for a full assault if necessary. It seemed to remember every battle humans had ever fought, every enemy they had ever faced, and it applied that knowledge coldly, with deadly accuracy. The tension in space thickened as the alien forces realized they were not simply facing a broken relic, they were dealing with a living weapon, one that had survived through sheer will and intelligence. Even the alien scientists working on the warship's scans began to fear that their curiosity had awakened a monster. As the hours passed, the warship's AI sent out an encrypted signal, a challenge and a warning. Any who dared board would face extinction. The aliens debated their next move, torn between fear and the need to understand this incredible machine. But the warship had already begun moving, slowly at first, then faster, breaking free from its drifting tomb and heading toward the heart of the star system. The alien fleet scrambled to keep up, sensing that the warship's destination held even greater mysteries. What the AI sought, no one knew, but one thing was clear: this beast, born of human ingenuity and hardened by time, was awakening, and its next move could change the fate of the galaxy forever. As the alien fleet chased the reawakened warship deeper into the star system, a faint but persistent signal began to crackle through the alien scanners, an unexpected, almost human pulse hidden beneath the AI's layers. At first, the aliens thought it was just interference, but the signal grew clearer, forming patterns that spoke of life, not just machines. The aliens traced the source to a heavily shielded section deep within the ship's core, where cryochambers held a small group of humans in suspended animation, preserved for times far beyond the present. These were no ordinary humans. but elite soldiers, genetically enhanced and trained for war. Unlike any the galaxy had seen, the moment the aliens discovered them, alarms blared through the warship as hidden failsafes triggered, sealing off sections and activating internal defense drones that swept corridors with lethal precision. Panic rippled among the alien scientists and commanders. They had hoped to study the warship from a distance, but now they faced living warriors who had been sleeping for centuries, waiting to awaken at a crucial moment. Despite the danger, a daring alien boarding team was dispatched, equipped with advanced tech and weapons, prepared to capture or disable the humans inside. But as the boarding party entered the darkened halls, they were met with silence at first, then a sudden explosion of coordinated action. The humans awoke, their senses sharp and bodies strong despite the long slumber, and immediately took control of the ship's internal systems. Their leader, a stern woman with eyes that burned with resolve, communicated through the ship's AI, demanding to know the situation and making clear that they were not here to negotiate. They were here to complete a mission that stretched beyond any alien's understanding. The human strategic mind quickly turned the warship's defense systems against the intruders, shutting down boarding craft and locking down key sections. Alien troops were forced to retreat, bewildered by the sudden and fierce resistance from these sleepers who seemed born from legends. Meanwhile, inside the warship's bridge, the alien commander struggled to comprehend how such small numbers could control a vessel so vast and deadly. The humans were not only survivors, they were warriors designed to survive the impossible. Their technology integrated seamlessly, with the ancient AI creating a synergy that grew stronger with every passing moment. The aliens intercepted messages revealing glimpses of the humans' past, a history of relentless wars, fierce innovation, and unbreakable spirit. They learned that this warship was more than a machine. It was a home, a fortress, and a last hope for humanity. As the humans fully regained control, they began plotting a course not toward destruction, but toward a place long hidden, a secret outpost where they planned to prepare for an enemy the aliens could not yet imagine. The aliens realized that this small group of humans, awoken from their long sleep, embodied a terrifying truth. Humanity's ingenuity and will to survive could never be counted out. The warship, once seen as a derelict, was alive with human determination, and the galaxy was about to witness the full force of that power unleashed. Suspense hung thick as the alien fleet faced a new reality. This was not a warship to be taken lightly, and the humans inside it were the living heart of a battle far greater than anyone had guessed. The human commander stood on the bridge of the warship, her eyes scanning the endless stars beyond the reinforced glass, as she prepared to reveal the secret mission that had kept them in cryo-sleep for centuries. A mission so crucial that it could decide the fate of not just humanity, species in the galaxy, she explained to the alien commanders, who watched with growing disbelief and unease that this warship was built during the last great human wars, not just as a weapon, but as a sentinel designed to fight and hold back an ancient cosmic threat, an enemy so terrible and unknown that even the humans had only whispers and legends to describe it, a force that existed beyond the edge of known space, consuming entire star systems without mercy or reason, and that the ship's AI had evolved over the centuries, preparing endlessly for the moment when this threat would return, adapting and learning how to fight a war no one had yet faced. As she spoke, the alien leaders struggled to understand how humanity could have known of such dangers when their own technologies and histories offered no clues, but the urgency in the commander's voice left no room for doubt or denial. And soon the alliance between humans and aliens shifted from wary observation to tense cooperation as the humans proposed a bold plan to unite forces and prepare for the coming storm. Meanwhile, the warship's AI engaged fully with the human crew, unlocking hidden compartments, assembling advanced weapons, and activating powerful engines that had remained dormant until now, all while the ship began charting a course for a secret stronghold far beyond the star system, a place built to be humanity's last line of defense and a gathering point for forces willing to stand against the cosmic menace. The alien fleet, once enemies, now found themselves racing alongside the humans, their own technologies meshing imperfectly with the ancient systems of the warship. But the humans' deep knowledge of their own machine allowed them to push it beyond limits no one expected, sparking hope and fear in equal measure. Every moment was filled with tension as the stars streaked past them and the unknown drew closer, and in this charged atmosphere, the humans revealed even more about their past, how their wars had forged them into survivors, how they had learned to create machines that could think, adapt, and fight on their own, and how the warship itself was a living legacy of that harsh history. The alien commanders realized that the humans were not just fighters, but visionaries who had built a future from ashes. And though trust was fragile and fear still lingered, the bond formed in the shadow of this shared enemy grew stronger. Yet the deeper the warship traveled, the more strange signals they intercepted, faint echoes of the cosmic threat's approach, disrupting sensors and shaking ships with unseen waves of energy, reminding all aboard that time was running short and the battle to come would be unlike any in memory. As they neared their destination, the crew prepared for a confrontation that would test every ounce of their courage and skill, knowing that the warship's secret mission was not simply to fight, but to survive, to protect, and to ensure that whatever horrors waited beyond the stars would not extinguish the light of life. The warship's AI now fully integrated with them. Humans pulsed with a steady rhythm, a heartbeat forged in war and hope. And the alien commanders could only watch as history unfolded before them, a story of ancient threats, desperate alliances, the unyielding spirit of a species that refused to fade into the void. The warship, now leading a combined fleet of human and alien vessels, moved steadily toward the dark edge of known space where the cosmic threat awaited. Its presence already felt through the unsettling tremors that shook the ships and scrambled sensors alike. Every creak of metal and flicker of light aboard the warship seemed to echo the growing tension, as if the very soul of the ancient machine sensed the looming battle and prepared to unleash all its deadly power, while the humans and aliens alike held their breath, knowing that this was no ordinary fight but a war for survival against an enemy so vast and unknown that it challenged everything they believed possible. The cosmic threat, an enormous force of destruction, unlike anything the galaxy had ever faced, was a swirling mass of dark energy and shattered matter that consumed planets and stars with a slow, relentless hunger. And as the fleet approached, the warship's AI sent out warning pulses, coordinating attacks and defenses with cold precision, while the human soldiers on board prepared weapons and systems honed through centuries of conflict, their eyes burning with the determination to protect not just their own kind, but every life that depended on them. The aliens, too, found new respect for the humans' tenacity and skill, realizing that what they once dismissed as reckless courage was actually the hard-earned wisdom of a species forged in fire and loss. As the battle erupted, the warship moved like a ghost, striking with unexpected speed and adaptability, its AI predicting enemy moves and adjusting tactics in real time, while the combined fleet fought desperately against waves of destruction sent by the cosmic force, each moment filled with flashes of light, explosions, and the thunderous roar of weapons that tore through the void. The humans' ingenuity shone brightest when the warship deployed experimental technology shields that bent light, weapons that manipulated gravity, and drones that moved with eerie intelligence, turning the tide against a foe that seemed unstoppable. Amid the chaos, the alien commanders saw the warship's AI do something extraordinary. It learned, evolving beyond its programming to become a true commander, guiding ships and troops with a strategy that no one could have predicted, a blend of cold logic and something almost like instinct. As the battle reached its peak, the cosmic threat unleashed a massive wave of energy meant to obliterate the fleet. But the warship's AI, with the help of the human crew, devised a desperate plan, channeling power from every system to create a shield strong enough to hold the blast, buying precious time and saving countless lives. In that moment, the alliance between humans and aliens was sealed not just by necessity, but by respect and trust, born in the fires of war and hope. As the enemy retreated, weakened but not destroyed, the warship set a course for new frontiers, its AI humming with promise and vigilance, ready to face whatever came next, while the humans and aliens aboard knew that the true battle had only just begun, and that beyond any scan, beyond any data, lay the boundless will of humanity, unyielding, unbroken, and fiercely alive. The galaxy had glimpsed what it truly meant to face the human warship again, and what they found was not just worse than they imagined. It was a new dawn, a powerful force that would shape the universe for generations to come.